Hi everyone, welcome to Christian Soldier 99. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Jimmy Rice, and I'm really excited for him to tell you his story. And it's really exciting, and I'll just let him talk about it. Hey everyone, thanks for coming back. Jimmy, thank you so much for speaking to us. And I'm just going to start off by letting you introduce yourself. So go ahead.
My name is Jimmy Rice, and I guess I'm 44 years old. Surprised I made it that far. Married to my wife Julia, and we have 2 kids, Heaven and Paige, and work on cars for a living. And I don't know what else you want me to say.
Nope, that's perfect because we're going to get right into it. So Jimmy and I knew each other as kids, and if there's anything about Jimmy and I that anyone around here knows is we really did some things that aren't exactly. I wonder if we should pause.
Aren't good.
Yeah, aren't good.
we were heathens.
Yeah.
Not very good. Well, I wasn't a very good person a lot of times. Yeah.
But we did some crazy, crazy stuff. And that's not really what we're all here to talk about. We're here to talk about more about how God changed Jimmy's life. And it was just, wow. And when I found out, I actually went to the Lord before Jimmy had. And but Jimmy was still my friend. And I love that about him. No matter what, he still had my back, and I just was really thankful about that because there was some people that just cut me off whenever I told them that I was a Christian or I became a Christian, and they just want nothing to do with me. And Jimmy was just always, hey man, I got your back, you know, nothing's really changed there, and that just really spoke a lot to me. And I was just really thankful for that. And then the moment I found out that the Lord had grabbed a hold of him and where he had sent him was just absolutely insane. It just blew my mind. And Jimmy, so let's go back and let's talk about a little bit, you know, the life that you lived wasn't the best. I mean, I don't even know what to say. We did some crazy, crazy stuff, pretty much illegal stuff and everything. But go back and I want you to tell them a little about your background in the Klan.
Wow. Well, guess it's probably around the age of 17. I had some friends that were involved with the KKK, and I moved to Chambersburg, Pennsylvania at the time, and there were a lot of incidences in there with me, and so were the younger black men in that town. And one day the Klan showed up in Chambersburg and was handing out papers, and I got one. And long story short, I ended up joining the Klan and spent 2 or 3 years with them. Moved up through to being head of security, and man, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. You know, I had all that attention that I was looking for because it took me a long time to realize a lot of things. You know, looking back on my life and why things happened and how things happened, and you know, I realized that they were showing me a lot of attention. And that's something that I didn't have growing up because my father had left when I was 5 years old. So I didn't have a dad growing up. You know, and yeah, a couple of my uncles, you know, stepped in and tried to help some, but they weren't there every day. You know?
Yeah.
And my mother raised me, and I don't know, I always was longing for that father figure in my life, you know? And when I would get attention, usually by acting out, you know, being stupid. You know, when I was in school, I got in a lot of trouble in school. I mean, I was constantly in trouble in school because that's how I got attention.
Yeah.
That's how I got people to look at me, you know. And I don't know, I got fed off of that, you know. So when I joined the Klan, it was the same way. It was all attention, and the crazier I was, the more attention I got, you know. And I did some really crazy things. Nothing that I'm proud of today. Back then, I thought it was just the coolest thing.
It was just the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And we did, man. We thought Jimmy was the coolest guy. And it's funny for him saying this now. There's about attention because we Man, we didn't think that. We just thought that was you, man.
Yeah.
We thought, well, that's Jimmy. I mean, we would drink and get drunk and just do crazy stuff, and Jimmy would even fold up bottle caps and swallow them and eat them, and that was Jimmy, you know. And here, the whole time, he was just, you know, wanting attention, and that's
Feeding off the attention.
yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead, man.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just like I said, a few years that I spent with him, and I'm not even really sure how and why I got out of that. I mean, I know I got in some trouble again, DUI, and went to jail for a little bit, and things just kind of fell apart with that, you know.
Yeah.
I just left, you know. I got away from that. I think I was trying to do a little better, trying to do some right things, and it didn't last very long, you know, because there wasn't as much attention in being good.
No, there isn't. Right.
But I didn't go back to that. But we did, man, some of the crazy stuff. I mean, it's only by the grace of God that I'm still alive.
Right.
There is no other reason. I should be dead 1,000 times over. I mean, seriously, it's just, I look back on some of the things, and I mean, even some of the things you and I did.
Yeah, right.
There's only one reason we're here.
Yeah, you're right.
God has a story and a plan much bigger than we did. So.
Yeah. And you know what? We didn't care about God. Sure didn't want nothing to do with God. Nope. I mean, I was cursing God every chance I had, and I was getting drunk and just, you know, we were smoking dope and just doing crazy stuff, and never once even had a care about God. But yet he had a story in place even back then. And that always boggles my mind when I first was like, yeah, God, I need you in my life, and I'm not playing games anymore with you. I actually need you. And he didn't hesitate. He came over to me and picked me up. And the thought now when I look back that, you know, he even cared about us then, it boggles my mind, because I definitely didn't care a lick for God.
We didn't care, and we sure didn't deserve the provisions we had, you know, and the safety.
Yeah.
Looking back now, and I can think, man, that was God.
Yeah.
That's, you know, when that car did that, and I should have been wrecked and killed.
Yeah.
God protected me through that, and I didn't see that back then. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in God, so why would I think that God did that?
Yeah.
But so many things that I look back on and say, wow, that was God.
Mm-hmm.
There's no explanation besides that was God.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people talk about coincidence. When you realize how much God is in total and complete control of everything, you know how many millions and millions of people there are on the earth.
Right, right.
But he still takes time to think about each one of us individually.
Yeah.
And to take care of us and protect us and guide us. Now, granted, he'll let us go through enough of our own stuff too, but you know, we have free will, you know. But he knew that I was going to be where I am today, just like he knew about you being where you are today.
And he was patient. You know, God never pressed me. He never gave me an ultimatum, ever. Not one time did he say, do this or else I will never love you again. No. And in a lot of our relationships, that's kind of how it is. You know, you do this for me and I'll like you, or you know, I'm only liking you for what I get from you. And God is all about, I'll give and give and give, and I'm hoping that one day you'll look back to me and thank me. You know? And that's just awesome about God. And how he's changed my life, how he's changed your life. And that's just, it's a story. And it's a story. And what happened, you went to prison, right?
The last time?
Yeah.
I've been in and out 6 times.
Okay. So
6 times total.
So tell me your salvation story.
Well, actually, my salvation story came, I think, after trip number 5 to prison. And things were just going through a divorce. And of course, the way I handled that was drinking and drugging.
Right.
That's how I always handled my problems, you know. I didn't handle them.
No.
I just
You covered them up.
I drowned them.
Yep.
In alcohol and drugs, and everything else that goes with
Right.
that. You know. And lo and behold, you know, of course, when you do that, you wind up back in trouble. And I caught another DUI. Thankful to be alive. You know, that one, I wrecked my truck pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you some pictures of that wreck sometime. Again, that's one of the things where there's no reason I should have made it through that wreck. When you see those pictures of that truck, you'll just be like, how did you survive that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was God. Plain and simple. I know that. Everybody else that knows me knows that.
Yeah.
But ended up losing the house that I was living in, and actually went to live with my grandmother, Hilda. God bless her soul. She went home, be with the Lord now, but she was very loving, and she told me all the time that she prayed for me, you know, and she would always try to get me to go to church and, you know, do the right things, and I just didn't want no parts of it. Well, through that DUI, I ended up on house arrest. So I had to stay in that house with my grandmother pretty much all the time. And,
whoa. Do you see the setup?
Yeah.
Do you see the setup here?
Yep.
God set him up.
So she would talk to me about going to church with her, you know, and like, man, I got no interest in going to church, you know. I don't like the people, you know, all that crap that goes on in church, you know.
Yeah.
All that singing and dancing. This wasn't for me, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean,
I was the same way, man.
I didn't even care about church.
Nope.
And then she said something to me that I'll never forget. And she said, you know, Jimmy, it'd probably look really good to your parole officer if you'd go to church.
Ooh.
And I thought,
hey.
you know, Graham, that's right. It probably would look good.
Yeah.
You know? I might actually get some brownie points and stuff, you know? And if nothing, she said, if nothing else, at least you get out of this house for a little while. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
You got 2 good points there, Graham. And
well, God was using her.
Huh. All right, well, I'll go. So I, of course, had to have it approved and all through the parole agent. And he approved it. And then that next Sunday I went to church, and I just sat there and was like, man, I cannot believe I'm here. But at least I'm not in that house, you know. And hopefully my parole agent will think this is pretty cool, you know.
Pretty good, yeah.
Maybe, you know, he'll think I'm turning a new leaf, and the whole time I'm just playing, you know. And
putting on a show. Hey, that's funny. Lots of times, there's a lot of people just put on shows, don't they?
Yep. But I sat there on Sundays and even on Wednesdays because, hey, getting out of the house, you know, looking good.
Right, go as much as you can.
And it was amazing. The more I sat there and the longer I sat there, the more stories I heard, the more people I heard talk. And it was, I don't know, it was just like God was talking to me. And I started to really listen and pay attention. And before long, I started, like the pastor was telling my story.
Oh, wow.
You know, and he was like talking to me. And,
so God was...
and I swear the pastor was staring at my eyes when he was saying some of this stuff. And I'm like,
what's this guy know? What's this guy doing?
And I thought, how does he know?
Yeah.
Like, how is he telling my story? How is he... I don't get it.
Yeah, because he's not talking to you, and, and he's, I
mean, but it felt like he was talking right to me. He was staring right in my eyes. And I
think that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that was God speaking in him.
Through him to me. And
and that's awesome.
And
it's scary, too.
It was. I mean, you think about that, because I had
It's like, what else does he know about me? Because I'll tell you what.
I had no intentions of doing anything in that church.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then, you know, one night I was sitting there, and it was so convicting, and I was so just into his message. And like I said, it was like he was talking right to me.
Yeah.
And then he said, you know, I feel that there's somebody here tonight that wants to give their life to Jesus. And if you're that somebody, would you please come forward, you know, and we will pray with you and so forth. And it was like he was looking at me when he was talking. Again, you know, it was like,
whether he was or wasn't, it was like it was just cutting at your soul.
It felt like it, you know?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and I was like, man, it's time. It's time for new life, man. You know, I just had to go.
Yeah.
I can't explain it, but I had to go. And I stood up and everybody's like, what?
Jimmy?
Jimmy Rice? I mean, the place didn't burn down when he came in it, but now he's going forward.
Right,
it's like,
exactly.
Nobody could believe it, you know?
Yeah.
And I could just see the eyes on me when I was walking.
which he's going to tell you a little bit more. I couldn't believe it. Listen to me. I couldn't believe it. Go ahead, man.
But I went up there, and I got down on my knees, and I was praying, and the pastor laid his hands on me, and he was praying. And my grandmother laid her hands on me, and it was like I kept feeling another hand,
Wow.
another hand.
That's awesome.
I felt like everybody in the church had a hand on me. Like it was an awesome experience.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you the release that I had.
And that was that hug you needed, man.
It was, man. It was a hug from God through that church.
Yeah.
And it was Mount Calvary Tabernacle in Williamson. Pastor Ruben Egoff.
Oh my word, I know him.
Yeah? Oh, super good guy. But
I know him. Yeah,
it was
really awesome. Was Matt Gordon there too then?
not at the time.
Not at the time.
But,
Okay.
he come along later.
Okay.
But whenever he got done with praying and the whole thing, I mean, I was just tears.
Crying.
I couldn't stop crying.
Isn't that horrible?
I mean, yeah.
It's
For a big tough guy like me that doesn't ever do that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't stop. It was just
I know.
peace and love
It's
and
crazy.
joy. It just flooded into me, and I couldn't describe it.
Yep.
And it ticked me off because
Right.
I'm not supposed to be doing this in
know.
front of people. But at the same time, I couldn't stop. And eventually, I'm wiping tears out of my eyes and stuff, and I'm starting to look around, and it's like almost the entire church had come forward and had put hands on me in that church.
Oh man, that's
Unbelievable that many people cared.
right.
Especially the ones that knew me.
Yeah.
That they came forward, and even the ones that didn't. And it was truly a once in a lifetime experience.
That's awesome.
To feel that I just felt so much love coming from God at that point in my life. It was like, you are forgiven, just
Yeah.
now knock it off. And don't go back to doing the stupid crap again, And,
Knock it off, right.
And it was at that moment that I surrendered and I asked Jesus into my life, and everything changed. I started to want to go to church then.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to go to church on Wednesday nights,
Because God changes our heart.
I was reading the Bible.
Yeah.
I actually had a Bible, but I never used it. It had like 2 inches of dust on it.
Right.
But I mean, I clean off and I'm reading it. And then I'm learning. And I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
Because I just had to know.
Yeah.
Had to know why that happened and how that happened and why somebody would want to forgive me. I think back to all the things I've said and done and how I shouldn't be here and how evil I was.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still evil. There's nothing good inside of me except the Holy Spirit.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I still have bad days.
Yep.
I still have bad moments.
Desires and wants and things like that.
I still think a lot of bad thoughts.
Yeah. And
But
that,
I don't
you know
do
what?
I did.
That's the hard thing, Jimmy. Especially, I'm not Jimmy, but Jimmy and I, that's hard. Because there's times I just say the Lord's name in vain all the time. I used to just do crazy stuff. And sometimes it's like that stuff comes back in my head. I'm like, God, that's not me, man.
Satan.
It's not me, but it's a constant battle. I've been a Christian now for, oh my word, like almost 20 years. I can't believe that. And to this day, I still see myself as that little punk teenager cursing and breaking stuff and getting drunk and acting stupid and running through cornfields with our vehicles and just destroying people's stuff. And I'm like, come on, man. And it's just crazy, but yeah, man, it's a battle, and and sometimes God saved me so completely. There's sometimes when I speak those things, it's like it wasn't even me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I speak those stories and I speak them as though it's a third person because God saved me so completely that I'm like, I'm not that person anymore.
Yep.
And Satan's like, yeah, you are. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But yeah, you're right. Satan's always like, yeah, you are. You're still that person. And God's like, no, you're not.
He come to steal, kill, and destroy.
Yeah.
And he'll do anything possible. I often think about why, now that I'm a Christian, why Satan fights me so much harder now. And think think about it. Satan doesn't really have to fight or bother the unsaved. He's already got them.
Yep. He owns them.
He don't have me no more.
No.
And that
And
takes
he's
him
angry.
off. That takes him off.
Yeah, you're a pretty good guy for him.
Yeah. I did a lot of
You did a lot of stuff for him.
But he don't like it that he doesn't have me anymore.
Right.
And he can't do nothing to me because I'm not his. God has covered
Amen
me
about that.
by the
Isn't
blood
that
of
something?
Jesus, you know?
He has to get permission.
But now what he wants to do, he wants to ruin my testimony.
Hey.
He wants to keep me from leading anybody else to Jesus.
Yeah.
Because as Christians, it's our call to lead others to Christ.
Right.
You know, and we do that through our everyday walk.
Yeah.
Through leading people there, through any way possible. Sharing our testimony is one of the most huge ways to do that.
And that's what you're doing right now, and I'm so glad you're doing this.
How many people that knew me back in the day, when they hear that Jimmy Rice goes to church, and Jimmy Rice was a lead managing usher at King Street for a while.
Yeah.
I taught Sunday school for a while.
Oh, nice.
And the things that I've done, and it's only by God. Nothing I've done. It's just God living through me.
Yep.
I don't take no credit for nothing good that I've done. Nothing good I've done has been through me. It's been through the Holy Spirit through me.
Absolutely.
You know? And when they hear that stuff, they're like, I want that.
Yeah.
If God can do that for him, I got to find out what that's about.
Yes.
And I appreciate when they come to me because then I can explain things to them.
Yeah.
I don't know it all. I don't know half of what I should know.
But you know
I'm
your
still
story.
learning every day.
Yeah.
But I share with them what I do know.
Yes.
You know? And I know the love of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that if he can love me, he can love anybody. If he can change my heart, he can change anybody's heart. I told you before, I think about Saul and Paul, the conversion there.
Yeah.
Saul killed who knows how many Christians.
And
tortured and just persecuted church. And then he became Paul. And God uses him. And it's like, if God can use him, he can use me. I think about King David.
Yep.
With him and Bathsheba and killed her husband Uriah the Hittite, just the other things. And I mean, just like, if God can use David, he can use me. And so on and so on.
Yep.
You read in scriptures how God uses the people that you just don't really expect him to use.
That no one else would.
Yeah, I mean, nobody else would use us for good.
Yeah, that anybody in their right mind would say, you're crazy for trying to use that person. And you know what's crazy about God using Saul, who then became Paul, is he chose him.
Yeah.
He knocked him to the ground and blinded him. He's like, I can use you. God uses the ones that nobody else can use or even wants to use.
I think a lot of that also is the dramatic difference people see.
Oh, man, you're right.
People see that and say, well, Saul was killing people.
You're right.
How can he be loving people now? And they think, well, there's only one way.
Yeah.
People look at you and I and say,
yep.
Man, I remember them back, 20, 30 years ago.
Yep.
The things that they did was horrendous. And how could they even be Christians now?
Yeah.
How could God allow them to be Christians?
Yeah, exactly. Allow them.
How could he be using them to try and lead others to Jesus? I don't get it. And then they really start to think.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start to see things. And a lot of people claim to be Christians. A lot of people claim to have changed their ways. But a lot of that comes and goes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, we can backslide as Christians.
Yeah, absolutely.
I backslid.
Yep.
But at the same time, when you live that every day, and you continuously live that life, it's been 2001, 19 years since I was saved.
Oh, then how long has it been? Maybe I miscounted.
It was 2000, I'm pretty sure 2001 for me. And it's been a good while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. I'm getting old.
You're old.
Yeah, whatever. But anyways.
You're old, Jimmy. I'm never getting old.
To look back on it and think, wow, it's been that long.
Yeah.
And like I said about backsliding, once I got saved, I had a girlfriend, trying to do the right things.
Right.
I was reading, I was going to church. Everything was good, man. It was really good. You know, and then I made a decision that was not so good. I was offered a position at work. But that position came with working 7 days a week. And working piles of hours. I mean, my average day was a 12-hour day. But I could work anywhere, 14, 16, 18. My longest day was a 23-and-a-half-hour day. And I was constantly at work. And I thought, them paychecks were coming in.
They were good. Yeah.
I had everything I wanted.
Yeah.
Man. My wife had everything she wanted. My kid was just a baby, And I thought that's really what they wanted was the money. And they could just... I worked and worked and worked and worked. That's all I did was work.
Yeah.
The big part of that is that I was never home.
Yeah.
And I was not in church anymore.
Right.
Because I had to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And lo and behold, things fell apart. I should have been in church on Sundays. And if possibly on Wednesdays or any other time that I could have been at church or doing what I was doing. But instead, all I did was work. When I did get off of work, I'd come home, grab a couple hours sleep.
Yeah, and you're tired.
Get back up and go back to work.
Yeah, you're not
when I
spending
would
time
get
with your
off,
family.
they were already in bed.
Right.
So I saw them very little. And it was not healthy. And I swore I would never do that again.
Yeah.
If I can't make it off a 5, 8-hour days,
then it's not
40
worth
hours a week,
Yeah.
I don't need to work.
Nope.
Because my wife and kids are more important than that,
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the way it is.
Yep.
And it's the way I've decided to live my life. And I don't want to ever go back to that kind of living. So, guess we got to take 5. I'm with you on.
Okay, so Jimmy, you had said how working all that time was keeping you from church, and which is very important. And I want to talk to you why you felt that is important, because there's a lot of people and Christians and just a lot of people, I don't want to get into it that deep, that say, hey man, we don't need to go to church. I can read the Bible at my house and whatever. And I want to know why you felt that missing church was a big deal for you.
Well, I wasn't getting fed.
Okay.
It wasn't all about just getting fed either. It's about the fellowship.
There you go.
When you go there with your brothers and sisters and you have a family, there's a fellowship. There's people that depend on you, people that you depend on. It really truly becomes a family. We are the family of God.
Yeah.
And being fed is a big part of it also, because you're not learning.
Yeah.
The Bible is the basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Yeah.
You ever hear that?
Yeah.
And to me, that any question that you have in life can be answered through that scripture. You just have to look. And if you're not going to church, you're not hearing the word most times.
Right.
And yeah, granted, you can read the Bible, and people say you don't have to go to church to be a Christian. And I saw something the other day. I say you don't have to wear a parachute to jump from an airplane,
Right.
but it sure does help.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Yes.
You don't have to go to church to be a Christian, but you know what? It sure does help.
Yes.
It's like anything. You get out of life what you put into life. Life is what you make it. How many times have you heard that growing up?
Right.
Whatever. Freaking people don't know what you're talking about. Life is what we make it. I'm not the one that sent me to jail.
Right.
Cops did that.
Right.
Yeah, I was the one that sent.
Yeah, I know.
Once I'm mature,
Nobody wants to take responsibility
for our own actions. Everything that I have done, every little bit of trouble I've been into, has been because of alcohol. Alcohol is a killer for families, for people in general. I was a raging alcoholic, drug addict. Looking back, I don't know how I'm still alive.
Right.
I don't know how I afforded it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I live week to week a lot of times. I mean, and I don't drink or drug, but I used to.
Yeah.
Crazy. A case of pounders a day, easy.
Right.
Easy. Not to mention the whiskey and everything else.
Right.
The nights in the bars, I mean, a night in a bar, you can blow $100
No,
easy.
easy.
You know, it's just, I don't know how I did it. And the other thing I can think of was that I didn't have kids at the time, but still, that's just crazy.
It is.
You know, to think back of the money that I have spent.
Oh, I wish I could have it back.
And not just the money that I've spent on beer and alcohol and drugs, the fines, the court costs, the vehicles that I've totaled. I've totaled 2 vehicles. The hospital bills.
Yeah.
Just
all the
parole
time in
fees.
prison.
I mean, exactly. Just on and on and on and on and on. Thousands and thousands of dollars. And I didn't think about it at the time. Now I'm sitting back thinking, man, I could have a house bought and paid for. I can probably have a vacation home bought and paid for. I could have, a lot nicer truck.
Yeah.
And I could have the brand new Harley or, whatever. I could have a lot more just with the money that I've wasted over the years.
I know.
But, when you go back to church, I got to go to church.
Yeah.
Because I want to go to church. I want to learn. I want to learn more every Sunday. I want to be able to go to church and know that there are people there that I can depend on.
Yes.
To hold me accountable.
And that's the thing.
We need to be held accountable.
Yeah, we do. And we need help to be held accountable.
Exactly. I have brothers at that church that aren't afraid to say, hey, dude, what are you doing?
Right.
And
you need that.
Yep. We all need that.
And if you don't have a family like that, find one.
Yep.
Because you do. We don't need the tickle and the tingling of the ear speech.
Oh, yeah.
We need the truth, because God speaks truth in love, and that's how we need to do it. That's our example, that we need to be like. And it can be difficult, sometimes to say, hey man, I don't think what you're doing is exactly right. It's a little embarrassing, and it seems sort of judgmental. But if it's out in love and you're not there, hey, how dare you? More like, hey man, this might not be the right thing to do, the smartest thing to do, and you know where this leads you to.
I've been there. I've done this.
Yeah.
I have found that a lot of times when I put myself out there and say, look, man, I've been there and I've done this. I know the consequences of what I'm doing, and I know where you're headed.
Yeah.
And I do this because I don't want to see you go down the same road I went down.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Right, absolutely.
But I tell everybody, I am no better than nobody.
Right.
I feel like I was the worst of the worst, man. Like Saul and Paul.
Yep.
I mean, I just know what God has done.
Yeah.
And I know that God continues to not give up on me, because, man, I give up on him all the time.
Yeah, we do.
I get so mad at him sometimes, and I have some real deep conversations with him. He can take it.
Yeah. That's what's
I got
good.
pretty broad shoulders, but you know what? His are way broader than mine. And I tell you, he already knows what we're thinking.
Yeah.
So you might as well just talk to him.
Might as well just tell him.
Tell him how you feel.
Yep. Be real with him.
Ask him questions. I mean,
Yep.
that's how we learn.
Yep.
Because he'll answer the questions.
Mm-hmm.
You might not like the answers.
Right.
But as we grow and we mature, we understand that he loves us enough to give us the truth. And I'd rather be hurt by the truth than loved by the lies.
The lies, not the truth.
And that's happened so many times over my life. You find out who your friends are.
Yeah.
I mean, going to prison, I found out who my friends were. People that say, yeah, I'll be there, man. I'll come visit you, and I'll call you, and da-da. I know the ones that came.
Mm-hmm.
Jason was probably my biggest supporter. Jason Mose, you know him.
Yeah.
But he is my brother,
Yeah.
He is no longer with us on this earth, but he is my brother.
Yeah.
He still is. He always will be.
Right.
We always will be. Every one of us will always be.
Yeah, I know, and that's hard to, that's hard to wrap your head around. But that's an important thing. We will never not exist. It's not on the same plane of earth. Because we as Christians believe in an afterlife, and we believe that our soul, our spirit, our inner being, not this flesh. This flesh will fade away. It'll turn back to the dirt. But we believe that our spirit will never die. And then the question then comes, well, where will you spend your time?
We are going to spend eternity.
Yeah.
You know how long eternity is? It's like never stops.
Right.
And we're going to spend that in one of two places.
Yeah.
We're going to spend that in heaven, which is where I'm going.
Yes, hallelujah.
Which is where you're going.
Yep.
Or we're going to spend it in hell.
Yeah.
And hell's a real place.
Yeah.
Before I wanted to go to hell, I thought, man,
Yeah, you thought it was
I'm
a
gonna
party.
run that place, man.
Yeah, it was
I'm
a
gonna run
party,
that
man.
place.
Yeah.
You know? But reading scripture, I've learned what hell is. I don't want to go there. I don't want to spend half a second there.
Yeah.
People say we're living in hell right now. I mean, on earth. And I'm like, you guys ain't got a clue.
No clue.
You got no clue. And honestly, I don't have
No, we don't even
the
have a
best
clue. Right.
But I know what I've learned through scripture.
Yeah.
I know what the Holy Spirit's taught me.
Yeah. I mean, we can't fathom heaven.
Oh, no.
We can't fathom hell either.
No.
And that's scary. You know how horrible it's going to be. And the biggest thing is the separation from God, because God is pure love and pure peace and joy, and to not have any love, peace, or joy, that in itself is a horrible existence. And how easy is it to become saved, Jimmy? Tell them how easy it is.
It's so easy. I never thought about it being that easy before, but it's simple. You ask the Lord to save you. You say, hey, I know I'm a sinner. I know I need you to be saved. Your death, your burial, your resurrection is what's given me my salvation. Yeah. I surrender my life to you. Come live in me. Yeah. I'm ready. I want to dedicate my life to serving you. Yeah. And that's just the way I did it.
Yeah, and that's it.
It's about surrender.
Yeah.
The simple thing is that you ask Jesus to come live in you. I surrender. I want to be saved. However you want to put the words, He knows what you mean.
Yeah.
When you're really, truly ready to dedicate your life, to have Him come live in you and be saved, it can be something simple as, Lord, save me.
Yes.
I want to be saved.
Yeah.
Or however you want to word it.
Yeah.
But when you're genuine and you know it's real, He knows it's genuine.
Yes.
He knows it's real. And it's so easy to get saved.
I know.
That's the easiest part.
Yeah, that's the easy part.
It's walking the Christian life every day. That's hard.
That's hard.
Some days are easier than others. Yeah. Some days are pure hell.
Right.
It's
horrible.
I mean,
like that's what I was talking about before. It's like all these other things. It's like my old self is still, present in my mind. I'm a new creation that God says, but in my mind I'm captive, and that's the devil's playground. I've heard that many times, saying our minds are where Satan captures us. It's where Satan has the ability to destroy us, and we let him.
All lies.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Jimmy goes from being a Klan member, okay, from being a Klan member to being called by the Lord to go where?
I have gone to Haiti on 4 mission trips now.
Yes.
And never in a million years did I ever think I'd be in Haiti. Even when I gave my life to the Lord and was going to church and all 9 yards, I help people all the time. People help me all the time.
Oh my word! And that's here's what's awesome, okay? Because God uses who we are. See, we're created for a reason, okay? Jimmy would always have your back. Jimmy was always willing to give you his shirt off his back. No matter what, Jimmy would do anything for you if he was your friend.
Yeah.
Okay? If he was your friend. Okay? Jimmy would do anything for you. He was always that way. And God used that. Once Jimmy said, God, you got me. God's like, good, because I know how giving and loving you are. Go ahead, man. So you went to Haiti.
Yeah. Jason Moses' dad, Rodney Moses, he heads up the Haiti Barnabas team at church. And he came to me and asked me if I would be interested in going. And I'm like, what? Like, it's still that little bit of old me was like, man, I don't know, man. I never really thought about going over there, I mean, I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I And I have black friends, if you want to get into the whole technical. I'm not a very technical person.
Yeah.
But finally, I'm like, you know what? I prayed about it. And God said, yeah, you need to go. And so I told him I would go. And that first trip, oh, man, I was sweating it.
Yeah.
Big tough guy like me, and I was sweating bullets. I didn't know what to expect, what I was going to do, how it was going to work out. And I tell you what, man, I was going down there thinking that I was going to be a blessing to them, and I was going to help them so much. And I tell you what, they've been just as much, if not more of a blessing to me than I ever could be to them. They have taught me so much. I have learned so much about how much I took for granted, how much I didn't appreciate what God has given me on this earth. When you go to a place like that, I mean, just to think, clean water, a bathroom. I never missed a toilet seat so bad in my life, I mean, the stuff that you would see, it just blew me away. Yeah. The kids, and how content those kids were
with nothing
to kick a can around playing the game, just kicking a can or a bottle or a stick or a rock, or here our kids are sitting around with $500-$600 phones playing games and stuff, and these kids
and upset.
And these kids ain't got nothing. Compared to what our kids have.
Our kids playing hundreds of dollars worth of just games and complaining.
A big thing for me was when I went to the church service. The first, I think we went on a Saturday, and then in the morning we got up and went to their church service. Blew me away, man, because I go into our churches and it's huge and nice and everything,
Yeah.
And I go to this Haiti church and it's a shack.
Yeah.
Like old wood and the used tin and just, I mean, it looked like homeless houses and stuff.
And that was their place of worship?
But that was their church at the time, But man, praise the Lord. To watch them have a church service, we go to church for an hour, and everybody's like, man, is it 10:30 yet?
Yeah, watching them watch.
Is it 10:30? Because, I got to do this, or I got to do that. Church starts, say, at 9 o'clock there in Haiti. And church ends when church ends.
When church ends.
Amen. I think it was like two and a half hours.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, we sing, half the time there, hey, would you all stand with us and worship,
Yeah, they almost got to beg you to stand.
Down there, it's like everybody stands, everybody sings. Even if they can't sing, they sing. That's me.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I'm sure people around me at church are just like,
or wishing you'd be quiet.
But hey, I make a joyful noise to
Hey, hallelujah.
For me, it's a joyful noise.
Yeah, you're not singing to them.
No, I'm singing to God.
Yes.
But that is to watch them worship. And I have a video I had to send you. Of
stick
service.
around. He's going to send me some videos. I'm going to have them at the end. And I'm going to show pictures and anything he's able to give me. Yeah. I'm going to have it at the end. Okay, so stick around to the end. And afterwards, go ahead.
But yeah, they're the way they worship. We have so much, and we worship so little.
Wow.
They have so little, and they worship so much.
That's deep.
It is.
Yeah.
And you can't appreciate that until you go there and be a part of that.
Yeah, because their focus is actually on God, and it seems like our focus is on everything else, and God's sort of just in the mix.
Yeah.
It's like we have hands full, and God's kind of has a part in our hands because we have so much. And here, all they have a lot of times is God.
Yeah.
But God's enough.
Yeah.
We've got it backwards, don't we?
Yep, we sure do. And to think about, I don't know how many people have said, man, I can't believe it. You used to be a Klansman.
Right.
And now you're going to Haiti.
I know, it blew my mind. I was like, oh my word, this is so awesome.
I'd have never thought it.
No.
That's all God. That's nothing that I did.
That is a Saul and Paul conversion, brother.
He has put Haiti so deep in my heart that I wish I could win the lottery for $500 million and just go down there and try to help. You can't just go down there and give.
Yeah.
Because they don't learn and appreciate.
I know what you mean.
And it's kind of like you can't go to the woods and feed the wild animals because then they don't know how to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Or maybe with me or anybody else. I
Right.
mean,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
so to try to help me, a lot of people have invested time in me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and money and whatever to help me get to be where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the same thing that I try to do with other people.
Yeah.
And I would love to be able to do with Haiti.
Yeah.
And we do that just through our prayers,
Right.
through going on the mission trips. Plenty of other people go down there.
Yeah.
You know, there's all kinds of people from all over the world that go to Haiti. It's one of the worst places, so to speak, as far as they have black magic, they get all kinds of stuff.
Gotcha.
But the hurricanes, and earthquakes, whatever else.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the poverty level and the things that they go through. It's like every time they try to get back up, something else comes.
Something knocks them down.
You know, and they really do have it hard.
Yeah.
But they really do. Praise the Lord, man. And I can't wrap my head around the whole when you have so little, but you praise so much.
Yeah.
You know, but going there and it's life changing, man. If anybody can ever go to Haiti, Dominican Republic, wherever you can go, and there's other places. I mean, there's places to go to Russia. There's mission trips all over the world.
Yeah.
You know, it truly
There's
is.
mission trips in your backyard.
Yeah, exactly. In the United States, or
Yep.
to go and to serve and to be served.
Yeah.
You know, because it's
you went to serve, and then they blessed you.
Yeah. Yep.
But isn't that how God does it?
Oh,
you know.
man.
And that's why especially lots of people think, well, what's this whole, Christians always asking to give and everything. Man, there's something about giving. And I'm not talking monetary things. I'm not talking money. Yes, you get blessed giving money. I'm not saying that. But there's something about giving of yourself to someone that it gives you this feeling that you can't get from anything else.
Yep.
And it's unexplainable. When you serve somebody, where especially in this society, the thought of serving people is unheard of, and it's like, oh no, how dare you, this and that. But man, there is something about serving people that just blesses you. A
lot of times you don't realize how much more you're blessed by blessing.
Yeah.
Even monetarily. I tithe and I give gifts and I give this. And part of me, the evil side of me, the selfish side of me still says, man, that could be some more chrome for my Harley, or that could be, some vacation time, or that could be this or that could be that. Yeah, it could. But you know what? There's people out there that need things more than I do.
Yeah.
And there's also times where I need that.
Yeah.
The church has helped me.
Yep.
The church has helped family members. The church helps piles of people.
Yeah.
And our system was not invented to have welfare and things like that. The church was supposed to be what took care of people.
You're right. You're right.
There's not enough people to go to church anymore compared to what we have doing other things.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with the welfare system.
No.
With using it
Yeah.
if you need it.
Right.
But it has become a way of life for a lot of people. And I don't really want to get into the politics of that.
Right.
But to get back to where the church helps.
Yeah, the church is supposed to be in charge of that.
And
we're supposed to help the widows and the orphans and the people in need.
And we still, as a church, do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Piles of that.
Yes.
People don't understand. And they see a lot of big churches getting bigger and shinier. And yes, some of the churches do use that like that.
Right.
And personally, I don't agree with that. But that's my personal opinion.
Right.
And I'm entitled to it.
Yeah, you don't mess with Jimmy. You got a problem?
Not like that anymore.
No, I'm just playing.
But I do stand up for my beliefs a lot.
Yeah, and you got
I
to.
have no problems doing that.
Yep.
When you're a big guy, you can do that, yeah. But I did have times though, man, where I can find the old me coming out.
Yeah.
know?
It's a battle.
You know that.
Yeah, it's a battle.
Just the other day, there was a drunk, believe it or not, and he was a black fella, and he was talking all this, Muslim that, and I sat there like, man, I really don't want to hear this. And part of me wanted to stand up and say, look, dude, you're in a restaurant, there's many, many other people here, we really don't want to hear it.
Right.
But I didn't. You know, said a little prayer like, Lord, you shut him up. Pretty much, you know.
Right.
But then he stood up and he started coming over towards my family. I could feel my fist clench up. And I was ready. I was loaded. And I thought, wow.
Just
that old instinct is
just
still
that
there.
quick. Yeah.
That instinct,
Yep.
that old instinct was still there.
Yeah, that I'm going to punch you in the
But
face.
luckily,
Yep.
you know, I realized that. And I would have defended my family had I needed to.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind. But I didn't have to. God stopped that.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of those provisions where you think, that was you, God. Thank you. You knew what was coming.
Yeah. And
You
see,
stopped that.
and lots of you probably don't understand this and what he's talking about, because you deal with your own shortcomings. We all do.
Yep.
If you say you don't deal with them, you're lying to yourself, and that's probably a shortcoming.
Or some of us just don't deal with it too.
So Jimmy, okay, was a fighter. Jimmy was a fighter. That's all I'm going to say. And Jimmy would rather speak with his fist than speak with his mouth. And I think a lot of times you enjoyed fighting. And I think that he got a thrill out of it. And he was good at it. And so for him to state that, that's what he's trying to say. It's like, you know, my old self, I would talk with my fist. I was good at it. And I loved it. You know, I liked it.
Yeah.
And I remember Jimmy always getting into fights and things like that. And that's what he's talking about, where that old self, like that old, you know, man inside him says, well, we're going to deal with this way, you know? And then God comes in and says, calm down a little bit, man.
Yeah.
You know, I got this.
Yeah. Thankfully.
Yeah.
He does, you know.
Yeah.
And I do think back to those days.
Yeah.
You know, and I honestly, I did feed off of that.
Yeah.
I loved it. You know, my grandfather told me, hey, if you're good at something, don't quit doing it. I was good at something.
Yeah. You were good at it.
I don't think that's what he meant by it.
No.
You know, and I've had my hide tanned a few times.
Yeah.
You know, but I actually did enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. We could
Looking
tell.
back, you know.
We could tell you enjoyed it.
But it wasn't. It was kind of who I was, who I was trying to be. More of that attention thing.
It was your identity.
It was. I mean people.
Yeah.
My ex-wife just told my daughter that, you know, your dad had a reputation.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll tell you a couple stories. And I don't try to keep things. I don't keep stuff from my daughter.
Yeah. I don't keep things from my kids either.
My
right.
kids.
Yep.
They know who I used to be.
Yeah.
They know what I used to do.
Yep.
They know that I've been in and out of prison 6 times.
Yep.
They know the DUIs, the fights, just everything.
Yep.
The drugs, because they need to know that stuff.
Yeah.
They need to know that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to why I tell them not to do this, not to do that.
You're talking out of experience.
You know, our daughters are 15 years old.
Yeah.
And they're starting to experiment with stuff.
Right.
Peer pressure. Friends, well, my friend does this, my friend does that. And it's like, I don't care what your friends do. Your friends aren't my children.
Yep. You're right.
You're my kid.
Yeah, and we're responsible.
My responsibility. And that's how it's going to be.
Right.
You know?
Oh, I know.
You need to listen to me.
Yep.
So
Jimmy, there's a lot we have to talk about yet. And talk about loss of your loved ones and your marriages and prison and just a lot to talk about. And I think we're going to just quit it right now and we'll save that for later. Does it sound good?
Sure.
All right. Hey,
Whatever
guys. Yes. So, guys, I really, really appreciate Jimmy speaking with us, and I hope you enjoyed it and just are as excited as I am to pick this back up at another time. But until then, you'll be able to watch this. Please stick around. Jimmy's going to give me a bunch of pictures of Haiti and some videos he has, and we're going to upload them. So don't go anywhere, because there's exciting videos and pictures that's going to be at the end of this. So thanks a lot, and God bless. Hi, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Also hit that notification button, ring the bell, that way you never miss a new video we upload. Have a great day. God bless.